All righty. Hello, everyone. This is your boy, Apostle T. Terrence Townsend, Coach T, however you know me. That's who I'm addressing right now. Man, God bless you today. Thank you so much for tuning in today to this program, which is called Engage Weekly. And what we are trying to do with Engage Weekly is to engage business owners, engage people who are looking to take the next step in their life, whether it's in business, whether it's in your personal life, whether it's in your spiritual life. We want to be a part of helping you to get to the next level, to step up and to move with swiftness, move with strategically, move with authority into the things that I believe that God has called you to. God has opened doors for so many of us, and we got to understand that when God opens a door, we need to have the confidence, the wisdom, the know-how, the strategy, the planning, the readiness to run through that thing. And so I definitely appreciate all of you this evening for tuning in. I definitely appreciate all of the folks who have been an encouragement for us in this process of moving forward, of stepping into this podcast arena. And we know that God is with us. And so as we move forward, guys, today we are doing kind of I want to even call it a part two. This is a completion of a message that we kind of got started on last week. We talked about a few things. We talked about really, maximizing your focus, being hyper focused on the things that you want to accomplish, chasing after those things, walking outside of fear to get those things, and really becoming what you want to see in your life. That means if you have to go through study, if you have to go through school again, if you have to re-enroll into a training program, if you have to launch yourself into being a caddy, or I mean, it doesn't matter what you want to be. It doesn't matter what you feel like God has called you or placed in your heart to be. The key is getting to the place in your life, in your living, getting to the place to where you can learn how to be and how to become that thing. Gain the skills, gain the knowledge, gain the influence. Again, like I talked about last week, people don't necessarily go into a job just already knowing the skills. In fact, higher level jobs require and desire you to come in as an intern so that you can learn the environment, that you can understand how things work, so that you can rub shoulders with folks, understand the culture, understand the mindset that people have, learn how to operate in that space before you get in there. And if you mess up, it costs you. So they give you those times of learning, of earning, of interning, to be able to cause you to learn what you need to learn in order to move forward into those spaces. So today, guys, we are doing a follow-up on our lesson and today and our message, which we are calling biblical wisdom on credit. Because if we tried to do it a few weeks ago, and I had my co-host on there, Dr. Madeline Marvin, and man, we got caught up in other stuff. And the thing about that's one of the things I like about this podcast is that, I know that if I have a guest on here, I have someone on here, we are going to just allow the conversation to go where it goes. We're not going to stop it. We are going to see this conversation play itself out. We want to see because I'm a believer that that those who are led by the Spirit, those are the sons of God. Those who it's good for us to walk in the Spirit and not in the flesh, because when we walk in the Spirit, we are choosing to hear God, to trust God, to see the Lord do what He wants to do, and even when we're in our conversation, we are inviting Him in to be a part of it, to give us wisdom, to give us understanding, and every now and then to drop some revelation on us, because Trust me, there's nothing in this world that you will ever be tasked with that does not have that God does not have an answer for, that God does not have a handle on, that God does not understand. And there's nothing that he cannot help you to understand. Trust, I'm telling you, we see it all the time. People who had no idea how to run businesses being successful, people who had no idea how to build a family, because their family before wasn't what it looks like now, and they are being successful in that. We people who have no idea how to move away from the struggles of life, whether it's in drugs, whether it's have been through abortion, where they've been through hard times and hardship, where they've been through homelessness. People are finding their space, finding their place. And we thank God for that, because we know that there's only one path to your greatness that really is going to matter at the end. And that's you trusting that God has it handled. And on the weekends, my wife Jacqueline and I would do a radio show. And in that radio show, I called her name, and here she is calling. In that radio show, we we do a we talk to folks, and it's broadcast to prisons in 37 different states. It's broadcast right into directly into those prisons. And the one thing that we tell folks is that no matter what you've gone through, God has not forgotten you. God has a plan for you. God, he's not changed his mind about you. And that's what we want to encourage you. We want to encourage you that no matter how many times you feel like you failed, no matter how many times you feel like you've fallen, no matter how many times you feel that the weight on this world is too great for you to handle, God has not forgotten you. He's here. He's willing to work with you, to encourage your path, forward. And I know this is about business, but trust me, we are in the world, we're not of the world, which means that we have one that's greater, that has plans for us. He works with us to see us to achieve good success. You hear me? Good success. And so today we are going to talk about one of the areas that could cause us to have great success, that could help us to achieve the things that we're trying to achieve, that will help us to step into the things that that we feel like the doors has been opened for us, that God has opened the door for us, and that can be used as a tool. I need to repeat that can be used as a tool when used the right way for us to get to where we need to get. But it also has the potential to cause detriment, to cause struggle, to cause pain in your life that is not like any other, to cause undue burden. And not only that, but also can put you in bondage. And today we're talking about biblical wisdom on credit. What the Bible says about credit, and what the Bible says about, how we should have credit, how we should use credit if we use it. But it also comes with warnings on, understanding that when you position yourself to utilize credit, there is the potential for mistakes, for misdealing, there's a potential for you to to mess up and to put yourself in such a bind to where, I'll say it like this. There are times where people can trust you. Credit shows truly how much you can be trusted. You feel me? Credit, how you handle credit shows how much you, my brother, my sister that I'm talking to right now, shows how much you can be trusted. Doesn't mean that the credit person was bad or whatever. It shows you, because within every credit agreement, within every agreement where you have to utilize credit, you have to be an individual that thinks clearly. You have to be one that thinks out, not necessarily outside of the box, but thinks with wisdom, that has a plan. Trust me, You need a plan when you're dealing with credit. Do not go and get credit and credit cards and utilize credit without a plan. Let me say that again. Do not go and get credit and credit cards. Don't even get a car loan. Don't get a home loan without a plan. You gotta have a plan when it comes to you getting credit. Why? Because credit is the one thing that can put you in slavery. Trust. It can cause you to be in so much bondage, so much frustration, so much heartache that there's the potential of you never moving forward away from that space. So we're talking about credit. I think last week I actually gave the 4 scriptures that we are going to focus on in this study, and we only gonna hit on it, and I'm just gonna give a highbrow type of understanding of where we need to be and some of the things that we need to deal with, because I do offer counseling, I do offer consulting, I do offer those areas in business and in ministry where people can become and do all that they want to do without necessarily getting credit, or but I work on strategy. I work on strategy and how to get things done with as little cost as possible. In many cases, some cases, if you want something done, you gotta pay the price. You gotta pay the what is that? You gotta pay to play. Sometimes you have to do that. But there are so many opportunities and things that people overlook that are foundational in them building the right platform to launch their business, to launch their career, to launch their life off of. So there are some things, that basics that we need to connect with you on. And again, reach out to me through Wisdom Works. Through Kingdom Builders. It all matters what area, but just reach out to us and we'll definitely be able to help you. Now, saying all of that, we're going to go ahead and jump into these scriptures. The first scripture that we want to read is coming out of the book of Proverbs, chapter 22, verse number 7. Proverbs 22 and verse 7. And I'm just going to read a portion of it. It says, "The rich rule over the poor, and the borrower is slave to the lender." The rich rule over the poor, and in fact, when we look at what's happening right now in our world, and it, again, it should not be a revelation that there's a small percentage of people that run a majority of the economic system in our world that influence it. In fact, in the U.S., it's 10% of people that run 70% of the economy in the US and even in other parts of the world. 10% of the whole society are the ones that truly influence what happens in our economy. And that's something to think about. That's really something to think about, because all of us are affected, all of us are impacted by the things that happen in this world. All of us are impacted by whether it's a good economy, whether it's a bad economy. Each one of us have I'll just say each one of us have a stake in what happens. And it's important that you understand that. Do not be a person that steps out or steps back away from the things that are going on in our economic system, in our financial system, in our political system. Don't step away from that. Don't just allow someone else to make a decision that impacts your life, your family, your children, your grandchildren even. Be a part of the process. Learn how these things work. Understand the economic system. Understand that about the savings and retirement, and what it looks like for interest rates to build on your behalf. There is so much that each one of us has an opportunity to take advantage of, but it's up to us. It's up to you. It's up to me to make sure that we are not letting someone else dictate, letting someone else take charge of the system that's going to impact our life. We must be involved, and we must have the knowledge, the know-how to operate in these systems. And so, again, It says the rich in Proverbs chapter 22, verse 7, it says the rich rule over the poor, and the borrower is a slave to the lender. If you did not know that if you borrow something from someone, you become a slave to that lender, which means that until you pay that back, you are officially in locks and chains, indebted to that person or to that institution. I am a believer that so many people are working these jobs and because they have to pay off debts. They have to pay off these things, and they are walking around enslaved in chains. They may not be physical, but they are mental. Those chains weigh on your mind, weigh on your head, weigh on your creativity, weigh on your ability to think outside the box. These things cause you to remain trapped and bound. You hear me? Trapped and bound. And those are the areas where each one of us have the ability to make a difference, have the ability to make a change, have the ability to do something more and be uh, proactive in making the change. And so we have to realize, and this is one of the things I want to encourage you, look at every area where you have debt, whether it's in credit cards, whether it's in a car note, whether it's in a house, whether it's being indebted to somebody that lent you $1. But be sure to check those things out, lay it out on paper, come up with a plan to get yourself out of slavery. Trust me, emancipation is a good thing. You get emancipated in your finances because, again, as long as you are in debt, you are a slave to that person, and you are or that people, the institution, whatever it may be, you are a slave to them, meaning that your work is for them. You're paying them. Interest is how people who offer credit is how they gain wealth. Interest is how they gain wealth. They'll give $1,000 to 100 people, and trust a quarter of those people will default on that loan. And all they're going to do is continue to add interest on that. And that person will be paying off that $1,000 loan for the next 10 years. And this person has taken all of that money that you've been paying over the 10 years, putting it in a vehicle that will gain interest, and they will get rich off of that interest from what they invested and the interest that they charging you. You understand what I'm saying? Again, the borrower is the slave to the lender. We have to be a people who are cognitive enough not to put ourselves in those positions where we become slaves to money and to money sharks, to banks, to institutions. We don't want to become slaves to anybody other than, like Paul said, I'm a servant of the Most High. And that's who we want to be. We only want to serve Him. In fact, as we move on in this, you'll see even some more scriptures that identify some stuff and really kind of pinpoint where we need to be. It says, so Romans chapter 13, verse 8, Romans chapter 13, verse 8, owe no one anything except to love each other. Y'all hear me? I'm telling you, people act a fool over money. They act a plum fool. And I'm telling you, you find out the gritty, the dirty, the everything about people that you love, people that you thought had your back, people that fully expected to do the right thing by you. You find that when it comes to money, they are a whole different beast. And the reason for that is that, unfortunately, their love, their emotions are tied to what money can get and what money can do, and they become different people to you. They'll call you out your name, they'll cuss you out, they'll tell the whole world how evil you are because you owe them $5. Telling you, man. I'm telling you. Money, people equate money to emotions, and that's a problem. When people equate money to their emotions, we understand and we see what the truth is about who that person is and what where their real treasure is. You know, the Bible tells us that our treasure should be in him. Our treasure should be in heaven, you know, but we find out that for so many folks, their treasure is here on this earth and is tied up in greenbacks. Y'all hear me? So it's important that if you borrow money from somebody, pay it back immediately. Have a plan. Remember, that's what we just talked about. Have a plan, have a strategy. Don't go into it blind. Next, in Luke chapter 14, verse 28, it says, for which of you desiring to build a tower does not first sit down and count the cost? So again, it goes back to you having a strategy. Do not jump into the realm of credit and credit cards and credit indebtedness. Trust me, without you having a plan. Don't go and borrow $10,000 because you want to start a business. No. You don't need $10,000 until you're making $10,000 a month and you can upscale your business. You see what I'm saying? Use that money to upscale your business, to take your business to the next level. You understand what I'm saying? You know, and because you know you're gonna have means of paying that thing off. It's important that you understand that whenever you go into a debt with anybody, make sure that you have a plan for paying that off. That debt will linger, that thing will try to hang over your head and it will try to hang you out to dry. Trust. So definitely make a plan, have a strategy. See how long it's going to take you to pay that thing off. And I would encourage you, if you feel that you have to get a loan, get less than what you need. You hear me? Get less than what you need. Why do I say that? I say get less than what you need because when it comes to you having to pay that thing back or what you think you need, when it comes to you having to pay that thing back or when the money gets in your hand, you may discover, oh, hold on, I had a strategy. That strategy was actually going to be more expensive for me to implement than what I fully intended. And so that lesser amount of money causes you to not only be more frugal, but it causes you to be more strategic. It causes you to think outside of the box. It causes you to figure out better, stronger, more applicable, more unique opportunities to utilize. And in some cases, you may just need to put the money into a bank account and just let it gain interest and pay off itself. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm telling somebody something here because somebody is looking to get some money, but you're looking to grab it and pay it into something. No, make any amount of money. Make sure that number one, there's an opportunity for that money to make you money. Don't get a loan unless that money can make you money. If it's a school loan, that money is making you money because you coming out with a degree that you can potentially take you, your family, your children, your grandchildren to a whole other level. Because now you have that degree, now you can go through doors that were not open to you before. You understand what I'm saying? Make sure that money gets you to a better place. You understand what I'm saying? You know, I mean, if it's a business car or something that you need, understand, get something that's going to make you money. If it's a work truck and you need a work truck to not just to drive back and forth to the site, but to carry your equipment so that you don't have to leave it there. Somebody may steal it, yada, yada. Do the thing that's going to cause you to level up. Okay. Don't allow yourself to just get money and then decide what you're going to do with it. No, have a plan. When you get the money, have a plan. If you take out a loan, count the cost, count not only what it's going to cost you to pay it back, but count it what happens if you don't. What is going to cause you to have mental anguish and frustration if you can't pay it back? Trust me, And you got to look at that in real time. You got to be honest with yourself. I'm being honest. You got to be honest with yourself, and make sure that and when one day we'll talk about make sure your spouse, making sure your business partner, make sure everybody's on the same page before any money come through the door. We absolutely are going to address that over the next few weeks. So I absolutely want you to continue and to join in as we move forward in this discussion about credit. Lastly, last scripture, Psalm 37:21. It says, the wicked borrow, but does not pay back, but the righteous is generous and gives. Man, I'm telling you, wicked. It says the wicked borrow, and here's the thing. Here's the thing. Is that many of us don't even understand that we are representing or looking wicked when we don't pay stuff back. The Bible says the wicked borrow and don't pay back. But many of us, because we overspent or because we overshot when it came to getting a loan, we got too much money and couldn't pay it back. We just went on and spent it all. Oh, we needed some groceries. We had to get some groceries with this. We just needed to get some gas. We need, the babies needed clothes to go back to school. That's what the money for. That is what the money is for. Unless you get it for that specific reason and have a plan on paying it back. But if you're in business, that money needs to stay in your business. If you don't have business need to spend it on, don't spend it. You better feel me. I hope you hear me. If you don't have a business need to spend that money on, do not spend that money. Keep that money right where it is. And if it just so happens that you got to make a payment, utilize that money that you need to set aside to make that payment. You hear me? It's important that you understand, that when it comes to you building a reputation as a good business person, good businessman, good businesswoman, you have to be one that people can trust. And the best way that people can trust you is to see that you are one who pays back your debts, who pays off your loans. Why do you think, there is such an industry as credit reporting? Why do you think that is? Because people want to do business with people that they can trust, and the best way that they can see that they can trust you is to look at your history. You hear me? Look at your history. So what we want to do, we want to make sure that we keep a clean slate on our history. You hear me? That's mentally, that's in the natural, that's physically. We want to make sure that our history can speak for who we are and for what we do and for what we can accomplish, because many of you have greatness waiting on the inside of you. You have greatness waiting on and talking to you in your ear, and you are discovering that the only thing that can help you is for you to get an infusion of cash to help you to get to the next level. But I'm telling you, that greatness will also show up when it comes to you looking for wisdom. The Bible says, if any man lack wisdom, let him ask of God, who gives it liberally. You can ask God for wisdom and get that wisdom that you need from him. Also, you can study. We tell preachers all the time, you better study to show yourself approved. Trust, if you're in a business, doesn't matter what the business is, study, learn the business, learn about how that business runs, learn about how the ways that you can get paid, learn about how you can make money. Do not step into a business venture. Hear me. Do not step into a business venture without you having studied, without you having an understanding of it. And I would encourage you, if you get an opportunity, step into one that you can work in. That way you can truly see the inner workings of it. Okay? And so, again, don't allow yourself to be counted with the wicked. You hear me? Don't allow yourself to be counted with the wicked. We need you to be a man, need you to be a woman, need you to be a person that can be trusted with your resources. You can be trusted with the things that people trust you with, that people put in your hands. Why? Because it's not just them trusting you with money, but it's also your customers being able to trust you that you're going to be able to successfully provide the thing that they are hiring you to do. It's so many areas where you have to be trustworthy. You got to be trustworthy. And so this area where we're talking about again today, we're just talking about credit, but the influence of it is in every area of our life. So I just want to talk real quick just about the few types of credit. So just making sure that you have an understanding of the different types of credit that can help individuals from making individuals to make informed financial decisions. Let me say that again. I kind of stumbled. This is for individuals to help you to make informed financial decisions. And so you got to understand the first type of credit, I think we're all kind of used to this now, is the revolving credit. And revolving credit, what it does, it allows you to use credit up to a limit, repay, and then reuse it again. I think most of us understand that's how most of our credit cards work, to where you can pay it, pay your credit card, use your credit card, pay it off, and then you still have that $1,000. So you have $1,000, you spent $900, you paid the $900 off, and you still have $1,000 spent. Okay, now the cool thing about that is that that's a good type of credit that you can use for your benefit. It can come in handy when you are in tight spots. It can definitely come in handy when you are in situations where there's just no other way. But you got to know that again, you're not going to step outside of your plan of repayment. Repayment is a part of your plan. Not just getting the credit card, but repaying that credit card is a part of your plan. And so you have to understand that. And so repay the credit card, then you can reuse it. The credit cards are a good example of that. Credit lines or line of credit is a good example of that. Most construction and businesses and most of those types of businesses offer credit lines or lines of credit where they can actually utilize credit up to a specific limit. And then again, once the project is over, either the client will pay them or whatever, and they pay that credit line off. They usually use it to buy materials, to rent equipment, whatever is needed for that particular job. And then once the job is over, they get their check, they pay the credit line off, and the credit line is still there, but it's full. You understand what I'm saying? So they can utilize it later on. And again, this is building good credit. This is building a good rapport. This is building trust with lenders. The best use of credit is to build a credit score and also financial flexibility when paid off monthly. Let me say that again. The more that you utilize your credit, the more that it is utilized by you, you can go ahead and build your credit score. Again, you building credit worthiness is what they call it. You're building trust. And and the cool thing about this is that you're not just building trust with others, you're building trust with yourself. I want you don't miss out on the glory of that. You learning how to trust you too. But you building trust, you're building your credit score, which means you're building credibility, credit worthiness, and you're also building financial flexibility, which means that again, at times where you need to do something, you have a plan to pay it off. You can utilize that credit, pay that credit off, and again, it gives you financial flexibility to do certain things. And again, when you're doing stuff with business, you want that business to pay off those things. You don't want that to come out of your personal income. So if it's business wise credit, again, make sure that month to month, have an idea of what's going to come out. I'm an insurance agent, so the more clients that I build in my book, the more that I know that I'll have to work with each month. And so again, that money is set aside for that business, until it's time for me to get, my cut. Thing about insurance and just in my field, that money often has to stay there for at least 9 months before you really want to touch it, because there's the potential that there's a chargeback. There's a potential for that customer to drop the policy, and then you have to pay all of that back that the company paid you. So again, the fact that I have that knowledge helps me to be a beast, so to speak, in my field. Help me to be, in charge of my own welfare. And so, lastly, when it comes to types of credit, there's risk, there's high interest risk, high interest rates that can lead to long-term debt if the balances are carried. Now, here's the thing. You have to make sure that you read that paperwork correctly. Talk to whoever it is that's trying to give you credit. Make sure, number one, they are legit. There are a lot of people, a lot of sharks out there, and that are not legit when it comes to making sure that you are taken care of. They'll give you the money that night and then charge you 300% interest. Oh, I just need the money. No, don't just need the money. You hear me? Look at other areas. I mean, you gotta take something to the pawn shop. Take something to the pawn shop. Don't allow yourself to get caught up in that cycle of debt. And so I want you to understand that you have the capacity, you have the ability in you to achieve greatness. And so this is your boy Apostle T, putting it down right here. Thanking you so much for keeping it locked. We're going to be here same time, same place next week. Check out our Facebook page, Wisdom Works. Wisdom Works is our Facebook page. And definitely go to my website, set up an appointment. Let's connect. Let's talk. God bless you. I love you. And I'll see you next time. Peace.